An exclusive.
You actually can't take a minute, can you? I mean, literally. I'm thinking, do you know what? This is quite nice. For the first time in this whole trip, because it's match day, you got a little bit of downtime, do your own thing. Phone started going almost as soon as I was out of bed this morning. And filed it earlier. It's really big news from back home.
Huge.
Rangers have asked now Hearts for official permission to open talks about making Derek McInnes the next Rangers manager. At a time, first and foremost, what you take from that is that Danny Rohl is more than halfway out the door. The way that Andrew Kavanagh does his business, I think that means that that's very close to completion. Danny Rohl's move to Red Bull Salzburg. So it's all happening. My information is that Rangers haven't spoken directly with Derek McInnes, but they have been given permission to open back channeling with his advisors. I think that's been ongoing over the course of the last 24 hours. I don't see anything being finalised today. Derek McInnes is here in Boston and he's going to be at the Scotland game tonight, as will Andrew Kavanagh, as will Chief Executive of Hearts, Andrew McKinlay. Would you believe this is genuinely a freakish coincidence? Andrew Kavanagh was always going to be here. This is months in the planning because he's at the Rangers Supporters Association thing. I'm going to say Milwaukee.
I think it is Milwaukee. I think you're right.
And so it had always been part of the planning that he would attend that, but also fly up to Boston for this game against Haiti. Derek McInnes, I'm not sure how long-standing his plans were to be here, but he is here. And Andrew McKinlay, that was a long-standing thing. Obviously, he's closely connected with the SFA, having served there previous. But yeah, the top and bottom of it is the conversations are underway. That would suggest to me that Derek McInnes must feel fairly comfortable that he's not entering himself into a beauty pageant. He wouldn't do that, I don't think.
And by that, Keith, you mean it's just him? There's no one else Rangers are after?
That he's not going to get told you're the unsuccessful candidate. I think he's the preferred option and the only option at this point. That could change or would change if things weren't concluded in the negotiations. I fully expect them to be concluded. I don't think Hearts are going to stand in his way. I think Tony Bloom probably believes that he's got a production line of head coaches that can all come in as he's proven with Brighton, with likes of De Zerbi and all these guys. So yeah, I think there are still loose ends to tie up in terms of concluding with Red Bull Salzburg for Danny Rohl. They would then need to enter into more formal discussions with Derek McInnes. But I think from the initial sort of back channeling, everybody feels really comfortable, and I think this deal, I'd be surprised if it isn't concluded at some point next week.
Well, look, if you're watching at home or if you're out and about with the Tartan Army in America, let us know your thoughts. Who's the Snitch says McInnes would be mad to go to Rangers. Are we to assume from this, Keith, that Derek McInnes, this is a move that definitely entices him? We know he's turned down Rangers once before, and
he didn't turn down Rangers.
Oh, sorry, I apologise.
He turned down Dave King.
There you go.
And it's a really important distinction. And I think what people need to remember out there as well is he did so after seeking the advice of Walter Smith, the guy who he always considered to be a managerial mentor. And it's worth pointing out as well that Walter Smith always wanted Derek McInnes to become the manager of Rangers Football Club. If Walter Smith thinks it's a good idea, then I think the Rangers fans, if there are any out there that haven't got on board with it, then I think if they know that Walter Smith always believed that Derek McInnes had everything required to be a successful manager of Rangers, then they should take some comfort in that, I think. Alan, I don't think anybody is better qualified to make that assessment.
Alan in the comments says, why would he become Rangers manager? He hasn't achieved anything. Sing the Blues says, Weedale getting the gig terrifies me, to be honest. I know Sing the Blues is a big Rangers man. Personally, I think it'd be a great appointment. And when you look at it this way, Hearts, having pushed Celtic so close there, with Shankland and McInnes at the forefront of it, for them to suddenly go to Rangers for not a lot of money either, it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and I think the Hearts board might be having to ask itself a few questions on how this has been allowed to happen.
Well, sorry, Keith, to jump in. I'll ask it now. How has this been allowed to happen? How can you get the star man, their 20-goal striker, their manager that was the architect of their title push for buttons?
I believe with the Shankland one that the reason that was that option that he could leave as a free agent after the first season of his new contract was that Hearts board didn't want to give him the weekly fee that I think Lawrence Shankland would have been happy with, and if he'd got it, he would have signed a 3-year deal with no escape clauses or no.
Just a straight deal.
Yeah. So, but the Hearts board tried to do that deal on the cheap, effectively, and they lost Lawrence Shankland. The Hearts board, I would have thought halfway through last season, looking at the work that Derek McInnes was doing, realising that this wasn't just a kind of early season flash in the pan, and that Hearts were likely to take this all the way to the wire. They could have moved at that point to change the terms of Derek McInnes' contract, protect themselves, give themselves a, even if Rangers were to come in for him or whatever, whoever else, that they'd have been better protected financially. I think that this is a really an absolute bargain. I think when the numbers come out on this, I think you'll find Rangers are getting an absolute bargain on the deal again, because the Hearts board have been really sluggish. And they've failed to see round corners here. Mm-hmm. And I think, if you're a Hearts fan, this is, you get the kick right between the legs on the last day of last season when you think you might win the title and it disappears at Celtic Park after months and months of front run. You then lose your talisman, your best goal scorer and your skipper all in one player in Lawrence Shankland, and now the manager that got so close, who's Manager of the Year awards falling off his mantelpiece, and it looks. I'd be really surprised now if this deal doesn't go through. So, from a Rangers perspective, they'll be absolutely thrilled. They should coin in a multi-million-pound fee for Danny Rohl, and as I've been saying for some time, I don't think Rangers were convinced at any point that he was the right man for next season, despite what they said in public. They've managed to get themselves into a situation where they could make a quick killing on Danny Rohl. They won't have to pay anywhere near that amount to bring in Derek McInnes. They've got themselves a far more experienced, far more capable manager. I just think that Andrew Cavan has played an absolute blinder here for Rangers.
I can't believe it, Keith, for the price that's getting kind of touted about. You think, okay, if you're going to go and get McInnes after the season, he said, fair enough, but you're going to have to pay through the nose. To have paid buttons like this just is astonishing to me anyway.